Welcome once again to the Jason Reuter Coaches Show here on the BCHS Bear Network. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey, and we're going to talk a little Bearette basketball, talk about what happened since our last program last week. And Coach, Friday night, first, let's always introduce a special guest first. Let's let you do that.
All right, I got here to my immediate left, I got Grace Phillips. She's a sophomore, and to her left is Glacia Lowe. She is a junior for the Bearettes. They've all been part of the program since they started here. Their freshman year, actually the summer before their freshman year. So they're glad, I'm sure glad to have these two girls with us today. They've not been on the show this year, I don't think, and
we had them on radio for a post-game one time.
Did you? Good.
Yeah.
And these are two girls that are part of everything we do, and they give their all for the Bearettes, and I'm very lucky. I'm a blessed man to have these two girls to my left. They're the type of girls that coaches dream of. They're low maintenance, hard workers. Gosh, you know, they don't, even when they could complain, they don't. And I'm blessed to have them both.
Love to coach those kind of girls,
Yep.
and I know I have them both in class sometimes. They're very good students and seem to be doing the work that they should be doing. And Glacia, we like to always ask about you. Give us your background a little bit. Where did you play middle school ball if you came to Bradley?
I played at Ownbey Middle School.
How about elementary play before that?
Black
Can I
Bauer.
have your attention, please? Teachers, this is the last call. Any ninth grader that has not had their health screening needs to report to the gym at this time. Again, any ninth grader that has not had your health screening, report to the gymnasium at this time. Thank you.
I gotta go.
Glacia, we'd like to ask you, where did you play middle school ball at?
Ownbey Middle School.
And before that, elementary school, I'm sure you started pretty early age, didn't you?
Yes. Black Bauer.
Black Bauer there. So, and how young were you when you first started playing?
I was 5.
5 years old. Grace, where'd you go to middle?
I went to Oakwood.
So you played together. Well,
Yeah.
you're a difference in grades there.
Yeah.
But, and where'd you go to middle school? Elementary school. I'm trying to say.
I went to Parkview.
Parkview. And you played ball there at Parkview. How young were you when you first started playing?
I started playing on the team when I was in 4th grade.
4th grade. Okay, so you've got a lot. Coach, they can't walk in here as freshmen, 9th graders expect to play. They've got to have that middle school background. Hopefully it's with good coaches, and it's helpful with the middle school to have that elementary school background too before they come in there. Know the basics of the game at least.
Certainly, the amount of work that goes into these young ladies before they get here is tremendous. Their parents and other coaches have poured a lot into them, and you know, a lot of times we get credit at the high school level for a girl's abilities. Hopefully I'm helping them, but they come in with a base. It's very rare. I'm going to be honest with you, and people don't want to hear this probably. I've never had a player come to me in the high school setting and go out for the team and who did not play middle school basketball and make the team. I've had several try,
Yeah.
but it's just they're too far behind.
Yeah.
Could it happen? Yes. For you girls out there that might watch this and you haven't played middle school ball, yes, I will give you a tryout. But so far, I have not found one yet. I'll have 1 or 2 girls a year. I'll have girls, do you remember me having anybody in tryouts since you've been here that hadn't played middle school ball? Do you recall any? I had an exchange student a few years ago. She's from Germany, wanted to play basketball, and she didn't understand the level of, you know, these are not
She was a
pros.
beginner.
They're not pros. Yeah, she was a beginner, and she was like, oh, I want to play basketball. And I let her come out for a day, and she, you know, the skill set is just, you have to develop this. You know, I remember playing baseball, and I was in middle school, and I give it up about 8th grade. And my senior year, I went out to baseball practice. I wasn't going to play baseball because I'd already committed to basketball, but I thought I'd go out and take a few swings. And the guy's throwing the ball. Last time I swung, the ball was at 58 miles an hour, and now it's coming in at 88, and I couldn't even hit a ball. And it wasn't that I wasn't a good athlete. It just I had to put a baseball bat down and hadn't swung a baseball bat in 4 years.
Well, yeah.
And that's the thing about basketball. You got to keep moving on. And if you take a year or 2 off, the game will probably pass you by that you can't catch up.
Yeah. You touched on something there that we've not talked about this year, the parental support that these girls have. And you go to Bradley girls game, boys game, whatever, and man, the family's always there to support them.
Very much.
And we just see them there. We don't see what they help with behind the scenes, because I know, like any sport or any activity at Bradley, there's parents behind the scene making things happen that people like me never see. And I know you guys, you really appreciate.
Yeah, I
what they
mean,
do.
people wouldn't, they can't only imagine financially.
Yeah.
We try to keep the costs, you know, you don't have to pay money to play basketball here, but there's fundraising involved, which you can call it what you want. You're still either, you know how it is, your parents go out and help raise money, or they raise, you know, they give it themselves. And then you got concession stands these parents work. We generally take them to the games on a bus, but a few times we carpool, and these parents, you know, we were up in Smyrna just 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
On a weeknight, and a lot of these girls, not all, but a lot of them, and I understand why a lot couldn't. We played, my goodness, we played at 4:30 our time, JV, and then the varsity played at 6, and that is a 2-hour and 20-minute ride
On a
one
good
way,
day.
on a good
Good
place.
day.
But anyhow, the point is, we still had a pretty, you know, half our parents there.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
So it's I'm blessed to have good kids that come from good parents, and you know, you got all kinds of things. You got single parents, you got grandparents, you got foster parents, but by and large, my Bearettes come from homes that their parents are involved, and they care about them, and they love them, and they support them. And I've got several parents right now, if I needed something desperately, I could call, and they would come, they would help us any way they could.
Yep. And you, I know you appreciate that too.
Yes.
Going back since last week, Friday night, we played Ray County, district game over there. We won it handily, going away. Everybody played just about, I think everybody on the team got in the game, scored, seems like. That's the kind of game that, you know, we expect to win because they're in the rebuilding process. And Saturday, we go to Smyrna to play Stewart's Creek, a very good team, unbeaten in the District 8 over there, a team that possibly would match up later on in sub-state play if either team or both of them got that far, boys and girls, and a good boys team as well. Come up on the short end of that, and let me ask you in this way, what can you take away from the Ray game when you win so big? What can you take away from the close loss, 44-40 loss there at Smyrna? So what can you bring back to the team? Say, okay, girls, we did good here. And we talked, you played almost a flawless first half against Ray County. 67 points in the first half, 32 in one quarter, 35 in the next. You shot 61% for the game. 10 of 12 free throws. That's a stat we hadn't been bragging on lately. 10 of 12 free throws there. So you had a lot of very, very positive things happen there, and it should have in a game like that. And then a tough game here, you had a chance to come back and win. Had a great rally there, but just fell a little short. So again, you know, what's the takeaway for you as a head coach for both those two games? We'll ask the girls too.
Well, Gary, I think you pretty well covered it all. I don't know.
Okay, we'll move on then.
We shot 72% in the first half at Ray. Now, I know they're much smaller than us and not as quick and not as athletic. I'm sure they're working just as hard, but everybody likes to think they're working other people. On that night, they're working just as hard. I don't know what they're doing in the summer. I don't know what they're doing on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. But, you know, everybody wants to win on Tuesday and Friday. And sometimes, you just don't have the horses to run in the Kentucky Derby. And so I think we just have a little better caliber athlete. I'm not saying our girls are any smarter or any better. We're just a little better athletes right now. And but if you had no one out there and threw the ball up and down the floor and say, all right, one's going to be a layup, one's going to be a 3, one's going to be a 15-footer, one's going to be a 12-footer, and say shoot 72%, it'd be hard to do if no defense was on you.
Right.
Run up and down the floor.
Well, we were hot.
And just throw it around and just take shots from wherever I take. 3, layup, 15-footer, bang shot. We shot 72%. So I don't know that I've ever seen the Bears play a better half.
2 turnovers the whole
2
game.
turnovers, and we shot 72%. 67 points. You know, came out after the game was over, and I sat down I try to stay out of the stands as much as I can, because it turns into, are you going to come out after a win, or you going to come out after a loss? We don't lose a whole lot, but I don't really want to get up, because you start getting into things that might be better off left alone. So, but I sit down on the edge, and I had a parent come by who knows me very well. His daughter played for me a few years ago. He goes, Coach, I don't know that I've ever seen a Bearette team score 67 points in a half.
I can't
And
recall.
I got reflecting, and we've had some pretty big halves. I don't know. That's something. You're the historian. I need you to look that up. Have we ever scored 67 and a half under my time?
Let me tell you what I found out. I was trying to figure out, I knew you weren't probably gonna hit 100 points, because I think it's something in your.
Well, you got the mercy rule, the clock
Yeah,
runs.
that's hard to hit.
Yeah, it's changed the game, like the clock is just continuously running, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to get 100.
No, I know you're not, I know you're not, and I think that the coaches appreciate that too, that you're playing against there. But I went back, I said, when's the last time we scored 100 points a game?
Marion County,
Was it Marion County?
yeah.
Which was, what, 4 or 5 years ago?
No,
3 years ago.
Sloan Carpenter and Hannah Jones
Yeah,
were
they were-
freshmen.
yeah.
They're juniors, so
Before that, you had to go back to 93.
Mercy rule was put in early 2000s.
And to further comment on that, we scored 119 points once against Cleveland High School back in the 60s in one game. That's when Jane Brock scored 93 points.
3 on 3.
Yeah, 3 on 3.
Yeah.
She scored 93 points, girl. We didn't have 67 points at halftime of that game. That's what I was going to get back to.
Really?
We didn't have 67, we had 65. I went back and looked that up, because I've got those
So you're
records.
one step ahead of them.
Yep.
You can't find a 67 and a half.
Nope, sure can. Not saying we didn't have one, but
Your records. You
back
just
in the
said.
303, on 3 we might have.
And we quit pressing at halftime, and you saw,
Yeah.
we ended up with 91.
Yeah. I only scored
So-
10 points fourth quarter, 13 the third quarter. So
So,
91-25 was the final there. And we don't know what they do, which brings me up to this. Summertime, you got girls both play AAU ball. Who do you play with, Glacia?
I played with Coach Roy last year, but right now I'm looking for a new team.
Okay, and,
I play with East Tennessee Air Thunder this year.
okay. And where do your games mostly play? In the local area, or Knoxville, or just all over? Or
Yeah, all over.
Same with you, Glacia? And do you get good coaching, you feel like, in AAU? Coach, I know you appreciate what they can learn from AAU ball, I guess, because that helps you. Maybe it's less you have to teach
Well,
them something.
if you just asked me point blank, I want your girls can play AAU or they can't, I'd say play, but I also want to keep it in balance. You know, I did lose a starter this year, tore her knee playing AAU, but that could have happened with me.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be a balance. I'm counting on these girls and parents to use their own judgment. Sometimes they play these AAU games, they play 3 games in a day, and if you're not careful, you ask any of us coaches who've been doing this long, yes, we want to play in AAU, but there's also a fine line. You know, your chances of getting injured playing 1 game a day or 3, which one do you think's best?
Well, obviously 3 would
Yeah.
be.
Number 2, you play and your legs get tired and your knees, your chance of injuries go up. And then also, I think sometimes if you're not careful, AAU can develop, okay, we lose, no big deal, we're playing again at 1 o'clock. We lose, no big deal, we're playing again at 5 o'clock. You know, I guess I'm old school. I want losing to hurt, which we're getting ready to talk about in just a moment. It shouldn't consume you, but it's okay to lose. Here's the truth. If you play 1,000 games, there's 500 wins and 500 losses. So it's okay to lose. It's just when the mindset, if you're not careful, losing,
You don't-
yeah, it's no big deal. What's the difference between winning and losing? Well, it's a little different in AAU. Back me up, girls. If you're losing, it doesn't seem quite as crushing if you lose as a Bearette, all right? And it's not their fault, and it's not their coach's fault.
That's
but
just
it's
the nature of the beast.
And these people running tournaments, they want you to come to the tournaments, and they're gonna charge you $200 to play in the tournament, $300, $400, and then they're gonna sell admission, and, you know, a lot of it is controlled by this.
Money grab.
Money running, and,
Yep.
so I don't know, I think a lot of times if there's a balance, I've raised 2 daughters, and I know once my oldest one, once she committed to Middle Tennessee, we told AAU, it's been nice, but we're gonna set the rest of this summer out. And we're not quitting type people. There's just no reason to keep going, and it's gotta be a balance. You can go to an AAU tournament and play, let's say you play 3 games a day for 3 days. A lot of times they'll play 3, 3, and 2. That's 7 games, or 8 games.
Oh, yeah.
How many shots? You might go play an AAU tournament, Grace, and get up what? In 8 games, let's say you shot the ball 10 times each game. That's 80 shots. How quick could you get 80 shots off in a gym? 20 minutes?
Yep.
15 minutes?
Yep.
So, I mean, there's gotta be a balance between playing AAU. AAU is no magic dust, just like I'm no magic dust. But some girls are playing AAU and they might be better off getting in a gym and working on their shooting. And, but you still gotta learn to run up and down the floor with 5 people. But we're getting on a sidetrack here. I am for AAU, but I also am for using common sense.
Would you like to have a shot clock?
I'm really neutral. part of me says yes, and part of me says, boy, I can foresee the headaches. We don't have instant replay. We got guys getting off the job and coming to make $105 to call 2 varsity games. So what happens when the horn goes off, or you got some 16-year-old kid running shot clock?
That's the challenge. The shot.
I think it's coming, because I think 2 years ago there was 8 states. Now last year there was 12. Maybe this year there's 14. You see the trend.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's coming. So it's probably like the 3-on-3 basketball went to 5-on-5. You change the rules, we'll have to adapt.
Yeah.
We're not necessarily a slow down team, so we do hold the ball at the end of quarters and in the games, but it would change things. But I'm neutral.
One more question about stuff like that. When we went to LFO, they don't shoot 1-on-1 till after 6 fouls.
I think they're the only state in the
Georgia
nation.
only state.
The National Federation has a certain rule book
Yeah.
that they want you to play by, and they've asked Georgia to be an experimental state.
That's what we were told down
Yeah.
there. Yeah. They shoot 1-on-1 after 6, 2 after 8, then they wipe
Each
them
quarter.
clean.
Each quarter.
Wipe them clean after each quarter.
I don't.
College women.
I'm not a fan of that. That's too many fouls. Like
Yeah.
you could foul. That's theoretically you could have 5 fouls in the first quarter, 5 in the second, 5 in the third,
Never shoot a
and
one-on-one.
5 in the fourth, and that's 20 fouls and never shot a 1-on-1.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
All right. We'll move on. We've talked
Yeah.
about all the policies and everything like. You told me something after the game over there at Stewart's Creek that I think about, and that you've said before. Sometimes you learn more from a loss than you do from a win.
Most of the time, almost always. Yeah.
One thing that I learned is we can't win if we miss 8 free throws and lose by 4 points.
Yeah.
We're 6-14, but
Well, on the surface, 8 free throws. It's all in perspective. How many did you shoot? We shot
14.
We were 6 for 14. So we hit 6 and missed 8. I don't recall if any of those were 1-on-1. We don't have a stat.
I don't think any of them were. I don't
Okay,
believe they
2
were.
shot fouls. Because that's even worse when it's 1-on-1. Y'all understand why, girls?
Yeah.
Because you would have had another shot coming. But point is, we lost by 4. We watched the first half of film yesterday as a team, and it wasn't real pleasant to watch that. And of course, there's only about 7 girls played in that first half, 8 girls. And, it was a 44-40 game. We trailed the whole way. We cut it to 2. It was 42-40. We're down 12 at halftime. No, we're down 13 at halftime.
Had a good
We had
rally.
12 points in the first half.
Yeah.
We scored 28 in the second. They ran a little bit of an unorthodox zone, and our girls, and I didn't have them ready, so I'm going to take the blame. This is a partnership. You've heard me say that before. This is not, when they win, I don't go around beating my chest, and when they lose, I don't say, you guys lost. We lose together and we win together. I didn't have them ready, and we played a very good team in their gym, and I'm not going to apologize for that. We scheduled this game on purpose. They came here last year. We beat them by 1. We go up there and lose by 4. So the only way we'd see them again is a sub-state, and there's I'd say 20% chance that could happen.
Yeah.
They could be here, we could be up there. So we know what we got to work at, and sometimes teams lose, they don't know where to start. I know why we lost, and the girls know why we lost, and we just got to make some corrections, and we got time to do that. And I'm not going to excuse our production, but I will say that, like you said, if that game will make us better, then I'll take the loss. The ride home on that bus, which is long and bumpy, I can tell you it was a long ride home. But you sleep on it, you reflect, and the sun still came up. We had practice yesterday, and I think we'll be better off.
Well, the next game is always the biggest game. You've got a big one Friday night here at home with McMinn County. They Cherokees, we handle them up there at their place, but coming back here, obviously, they've only got 2 losses in the district. You know what they're thinking? Hey, we knock off Bearettes, we knock off Cleveland, we knock off Walker, which they've still got all those to play, plus they've got another game. They're still a couple of games behind because they lost a couple of games, I think Ray and Oudwall, to the snow thing, but they're still in this fight for the district, and we're unbeaten right now. Cleveland's 1 game behind us. We got a big game with them next Saturday week, but right now, McMinn's your focus. And I'm sure since you've played them, you know what they're going to try to do and what you're going to try to do, and they know what you're going to try to do and what they're going to want to do as well. So is it different preparing for a team the second time you play them than it was the first time we played them?
Yeah, it's a little different. First of all, any good coach has kept his notes from what he prepared, and then you go back. Now, a lot of times you may not have had a chance to even watch the film of the game you played. I'd say most of the time I do before. Now you can get to this point.
Yeah.
But I had not went through and studied our McMinn. We won by 30 up there. And most people watching this are in this room right now would say, what are you worried about? Well, I don't think we're 30 points better than McMinn. I think we played pretty good that night, and I think they played below their ability. Now, do I think we're better? Obviously we're better. But I will not overlook McMinn County. They are hungry. We haven't clinched anything. I mean, 1 and 2 get a bye in the district.
Right.
So if they was to beat us Friday, they are right in the hunt. Like you say, we're 9-0. That put us 9-1. And we got to go to Cleveland, Walker Valley, and then Cleveland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Walker Valley, and then
Walker
Cleveland.
Valley next Tuesday, Cleveland next Saturday.
So-
Or next Thursday, sorry.
These girls will tell you we're going to get ready for McMinn County just like we have never played them, and are just like they beat us last time. Now, here's the advantage. I have found this. The team who wins doesn't make much adjustments. Coach Tucker may be making adjustments, okay? Now, sometimes you can get films on them. The last few, I had an assistant coach ask me, do you have any more films on McMinn? I said, I really don't. They beat Ray County by 40. I don't think that film's going to help us.
No.
They beat, who else did they beat? They beat somebody else by 35, and I said, I don't know if that film's going to help
Might
us.
be a new one.
Yeah, you only got so much time. We're coaches, but we're also teachers, and I mean, we got out here last night. What was it? 6:45, 6:55. You know, and these kids are putting in long days, and I go home, watch film, and I watched our entire game last night at home from up in Athens, and we know who their best players are. We know who to run off the line. We know who's going to drive it. I think I know what kind of defense they're going to play. So, but you have to have your team prepared for whatever they throw at you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
If you wait until you work against a 1-3-1 zone, the first time you see it in the game, then you're probably going to get beat. So we are prepared whatever they throw at us.
We've seen 2 threes, we've seen 1-2, we've seen everything. You can
Matchup
imagine.
zones, man-to-man, full court press, sagging zones, you name it, yep.
One thing I always like to ask you guys while your coach is here, Grace, where do you need to improve your game?
Defense.
Defense. You're saying to get quicker, to recognize more, or to
Just like to be able to put more pressure on the ball.
mm-hmm. You're a pretty good shooter, though, when you get a chance to shoot the ball. You get open shot.
She knows how to get her coach's attention. I preach to them all the time. You'll get on the floor quicker if I can trust you on defense.
Yeah.
You may not score a point for me, but if I know I can trust you on defense, then you can help us win.
You got starters not scoring a whole lot of points, but you don't need them to score a whole lot of
Well-
points because the defense are playing and the rebounding they're.
I'd take a few more points, but your point is well taken. If I know that we can rotate correctly all 5 girls,
Yeah.
then I can have you out there to turn the offense.
Yeah.
But I can't have it the other way around.
Galatia, what area would you like to be better at
Offensively,
offensively? Get your shooting better?
shooting and playing less timid.
Okay, all right. Well, Coach,
Every girl we have has strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
They know that. We're very transparent with each other. And these
it's good to hear
girls-
them recognize and say that too, you know.
I have an open door policy. Girls can come see me about what I need to do for more playing time, and obviously these girls are playing a lot on the JV. I mean, these girls are very important to our future, and the wheel keeps on turning. But you come in and ask me what you got to do to get more playing time. The one thing I will tell you, Trevor, is you're going to be ready to hear the truth. If you're going to ask me, then I'm going to tell you the truth. Now, if that hurts your feelings, then
Shouldn't have asked.
well, I mean,
No.
but both of these girls, you understand, we're down to 16 girls in the program because of people moving to other places and injuries. And I don't know there's any girls walking the hall. You've heard about people saying, boy, if I could get that guy to play football and that guy to play football. I don't know of any girl walking the hall at Bradley High that I could go and get right now and say, hey, come out and you can help me, because the skill set's not there.
Right.
And number 2, the programming and the training. If you come to me as a senior from another school and want to move into here, you better be a starter, because I'm not taking you as a senior, because there's too much work to be done.
Yeah.
But these 2 girls put in the work, and I'm proud to have them on our team.
A lot of it's about conditioning and all that, and a lot of the off season. I know you guys lift weights and things. And people who are not close don't realize what all you have to do. I mean, as an image, tradition at the Bearettes have. You're going to make good grades. That's part of it too.
Well, you're gonna better be a fine young lady,
Yeah.
and you're gonna make mistakes, but there's a certain way you conduct yourself. Number two, you're gonna be respectful. Number three, you really have to, you don't have any choice, you gotta play hard. If you wanna pick and choose when you play hard, then you're probably not gonna make it.
Probably on the bench watch somebody else.
Well, I don't know that you're gonna be on the bench very long. I don't know that a girl could last on our program if one day she practiced hard, one day she didn't. Do you?
Gotta give
Yeah,
her
I
another
think
day.
they've seen some, maybe tried that in the past, maybe, I don't know. Maybe you guys are too young to see. Well, I got a junior over here, you may have seen somebody who wanted to play hard one day and not the next, and they usually don't last, they don't last.
Well, you don't need them on your team.
No.
Don't need them on your team. We're going to wrap this show up for this week. I'd like to thank Galatia Lowe, Grace Phillips for being with us today, our special guest, and the big dog here, the tall guy, we call him, Jason Reuter, although he got out tall last week in our program.
Thank you, girls.
And I'd like to thank Mr. Gwynn Roy and his cast here, our crew here at Bradley Central Broadcast Plants that does all of our shows for us. They're available on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter as well. And we hope you enjoy those. If you have any comments, please let us know. Until next time, we'll say God bless and go Bearettes.